I'm sure we're all familiar with the recent controversy stemming from Joe Rogan supporting RFK. This isn't an isolated incident, though. It comes after a prolonged suspicion surrounding Rogan's unwillingness to have Trump on the platform. It's not like he's any stranger to having politicians on the show while they're actively campaigning, which has led a lot of people to believe that this isn't a decision he's making on his own. Well, it turns out this instinct is spot on. If you go through the Spotify board of directors, not only will you find people absolutely seething with hatred for the guy, but the company itself actively worked to stifle his administration, being one of 97 companies who filed an amicus brief in opposition to Trump's immigration order. These tweets are from Spotify co-founder Martin Lorentzen, who clearly has a severe bias against Trump, and 2 more members of the board have publicly stated their opposition to the former president. Both Shashir Mirorta and Padmasree Warrior signed an open letter from tech leaders denouncing Trump in 2016. If you go to Open Secrets, the people at Spotify are donating both to Kamala and RFK, as well as almost exclusively Democrats, with the only Republicans being old-school neocons like Nikki Haley and Chris Christie. I think it's clear that the people at Spotify, who just gave Rogan another $250 million, are highly intent on keeping Trump out of office, and are therefore blocking his appearance on the show. It doesn't really make sense with any other explanation. Everyone knows it would be amazing content and bring in tons of viewers. Rogan has already had many politicians on the show who are running for office, so it's not like he's worried about influencing an election. Rogan has many people on with positions identical to Trump, so it's not a moral issue with platforming his beliefs either. So it has to be the higher-ups at Spotify forcing Rogan to make this decision. I've seen some people argue that he's just afraid of the media backlash he would receive for having Trump on. Considering how hard they went after him for just being an ivermectin-taking Bernie bro, I can see where he would come to this conclusion. But at this point, it's all been put out there already. The N-word compilations have been made, and every cancelable offense has already been brought to the surface. I don't think another media cycle rehashing the same talking points is enough of a deterrent to stop Joe. I do, however, think that $250 million being dangled over his head is plenty of incentive to not step over this line. Spotify has been fairly lenient with allowing Joe to have on interesting guests, but there are still some obvious platforming decisions being made by people other than Joe. The best example of this actually had a clip go viral the other day, and that's the Gavin McInnes episode, which is banned from every platform and has been since the first Spotify deal. Rogan didn't suddenly decide to delete this episode himself after years of having it up. Somebody at Spotify forced him to take it down, the same way somebody at Spotify is forcing him to not have Trump on the show. Which is honestly a shame, no matter what you think of the guy. It would be an incredibly entertaining podcast and provide everyone with something to talk about for the week.
So when are you having Trump on?
I don't know.
Okay. The look
I don't know. Maybe.
Looks like you got something.
Maybe.
Okay, good. That's good. I think that's...
Look, at a certain point in time, it's just like, it would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office? I would like to know things like, what is it like versus perception?
Yeah.
What is it actually like when you get in that building? Like, what are you greeted with? When do you know that people are fucking with you? When do you know that the intelligence agency is lying to you? Like, when you decided to fire Comey, what was the thought? How much did you know? Like, what's the machine like? What is the deep state really like? Really like? Because we have all these, smoky room perceptions, like from the Bill Hicks joke, where they show you the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. What is the machine that runs this country? Because it's very clear that it's not as simple as elected representatives that are doing the will of the people.
If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe.